Life is unpredictable, and having income protection insurance is an important type of insurance to have. Many employers offer it, but it's most commonly known as short or long-term disability coverage. And this employee benefit is important to have because it kicks in to protect your income at a percentage in the event you experience a medical emergency, an injury, or you may have an extended recovery from a surgery, which can disrupt everything. So when this type of insurance is available as an employee benefit, it's often one of the most valuable protections you can have. And if your employer doesn't offer it, you can and you should independently secure your own income protection insurance to secure your income. Because there are so many people, especially young and healthy people, that underestimate the possibility of being unable to work due to an unexpected injury or an unexpected medical condition. So it's easy to believe you don't need it, but one thing's for sure, your bills don't stop when you can't work. And there are so many women who are fine and healthy and they decide to grow and expand their family and unexpectedly start having early complications, causing them to have a high-risk pregnancy where they're on bed rest 4 months in. So now she's unable to work for 5 months or longer, which means she loses her income in a household that may be accustomed to 2 incomes. And now the weight of the household falls on one remaining income holder. Or if it's a single income household without income protection, that household just lost its only income source. Or let's say you're the man of the house and you're the leading income holder, and suddenly you're diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that restricts your physical ability to work. That home just lost its only income source. But by having income protection insurance, it fills in the gap by providing income replacement until you can physically return back to work. Now, I always say it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, because you can avoid exhausting your emergency fund, maxing out credit cards, or getting a loan to stay afloat, because your household bills and medical bills, even with healthcare coverage, adds up quickly. So check to see if your employer offers it, and if they do, enroll so you can protect your income. Now, if they don't offer it, consider getting your own coverage so your income is protected in the event that life starts lifing with your health unexpectedly. Many employers offer life insurance, but it's often directly tied to your employment, which means if you leave your job by way of resignation, termination, or retirement, you also lose your coverage. And unfortunately, many people don't realize that until it's too late, and they often find out after they retire because many assume the coverage will carry over. Then they find themselves securing a new policy on their own, but at that point, the cost is much higher, especially considering your age and health condition. Now, some employers offer a conversion option where you might be able to keep the coverage, but it often comes at a significantly higher premium that you'll have to pay out of pocket. So it's always more ideal to secure your own policy separately, so when it's time to retire or when it's time for a career change, you'll still be covered no matter where you go. Because oftentimes your employer coverage isn't enough to meet your long-term needs as you grow and as you elevate. An employer matches the contribution your employer makes to your retirement savings plan based on the amount you put in. And the employer match actually helps you build and grow your retirement savings faster, which is why I always say if you're not participating in your employer's retirement plan, especially if there's a match, you're leaving money on the table. So an employer match looks like this. You contribute to your 401k and your employer matches it by way of a percentage-based match, a dollar-based match, or a tiered-based match of your contribution. And it's then added to your retirement account. Now, when you start contributing to an employer-sponsored retirement plan, your contributions, which is the money you put in, are always yours to keep, regardless of how long you work for the company. However, the employer contribution, which is the funds your employer used to match you, are typically subject to a vesting schedule. And a vesting schedule is a timeline that shows when you fully own the match that your employer gives you. There's different types of vesting schedule. There's immediate vesting, there's graded vesting, and there's cliff vesting. With immediate vesting, you own your employer's contribution as soon as they're made. There is no waiting period. You're 100% vested right away. So you can leave the company after a year and you'll still keep the employer's contributions in your retirement account. Now, with graded vesting, you gradually gain ownership of the employer's contributions over time, so you can earn more vesting every year. A graded vesting schedule may look like this. After a year, you're 20% vested. After 2 years, you're 40% vested. After 3 years, you're 60% vested. After 4 years, you're 80% vested. And after 5 years, you're 100% vested. So after 5 years, you own 100% of your employer's contribution. So let's say you leave the company after 3 years, you would be 60% vested in the employer's contributions, which means you take 60% of the total that your employer contributed to your account. Now, you still keep all of what you contributed, but you only keep 60% of what the employer contributed, and you forfeit the other 40%. Now, with cliff vesting, you become fully vested in the employer's contribution after a specific time period. For example, your employer may have a 3-year cliff vesting schedule, which means you'll only become fully vested once you hit that 3-year mark. So if you leave before the 3 years is up, then you forfeit all of the employer's contributions. Now, you still keep all of what you put in, but you won't get to keep what the employer contributed to your account. So overall, if you leave the company before becoming fully vested, you may forfeit some or all of the employer's contributions, depending on their vesting schedule. And employers use vesting schedules to encourage employee retention. So the longer you stay, the more access you get. So review your company's retirement plan documents so you can know and understand how they match, what they match, and what vesting schedule they're using. Always, always, always make sure you are reviewing your pay stub every time you get paid. Because if you don't review your pay stub, how do you know if the number of hours you work for that pay period is properly being calculated and being shown and reflected on that pay stub or in your pay? How do you know that you're being paid the pay rate you were told? Or how do you know if you're receiving the pay raise that you were scheduled to receive if you're not reviewing your pay stub? Make it become a standard that at least within 48 hours of receiving your pay stub that you're reviewing it for accuracy, because pay mistakes can happen. And yes, technology does streamline the payroll process, but technology can also glitch and revert back to its default setting, causing mistakes that goes unseen until someone notices. Another area to pay close attention to is your deductions. Are your healthcare premium and retirement contributions being deducted for the correct amount? Ignoring your pay stub may leave you assuming you're contributing to a retirement plan, only to discover after years later as you're preparing to retire that you haven't been contributing at all. And the bigger question in that moment will be, sir, ma'am, were you reviewing your pay stub to notice that it was never coming out? And you can also be subject to incorrect deductions that don't even apply to you. So if you're not checking your pay stub, how would you know if you're being charged for something you shouldn't be, because that deduction may not even apply to you? And let's not forget overtime. If your company has specific rules surrounding overtime pay, like paying time and a half for over 40 hours, you want to make sure that those hours are being calculated properly, and you'll only know that if you are reviewing your pay stub. It takes less than 2 minutes to lay your eyes on your pay stub so you can catch errors as early as possible if they happen, to avoid financial surprises, and so you can manage your finances more effectively and ensure that you're getting the benefits and the compensation that you're supposed to. So every time you get paid, develop the mindset that says, I've earned my income, but it's up to me to review it and it's up to me to protect it. Hey family, I hope you enjoyed today's Wealth and Wisdom conversation. Make sure you comment below and let me know some of your takeaways. And if there's anything you want me to talk about in upcoming conversations, make sure you share this video with at least 10 people that you know. I'll be dropping more videos like this every Wednesday. Always remember, your mindset is the key to unlocking your financial freedom. It's time to leave behind what's comfortable for what's possible. All we have is now, so start now. See you next week. you.